Happy Monday.
How about them Cowboys?
Oh man, that feels so good, man. How was the rest of your Thanksgiving weekend?
Man, it was great, man. I had fun. I relaxed. It felt like we didn't go live for like a whole month,
It
man.
did. It did, man. I was kind of anxious, right? I was like telling you, me and you were talking yesterday. We're like, you, we're not ego haters, but man, if they lose, we're going live. I don't care because it was a
Yeah.
late game. That's why, guys. Okay, I'm sorry. All right. But dang, uh, same here, man. I mean, I will be honest with everybody. I was actually under the weather last week. I don't know if you guys could actually tell. I was actually out of it. I kind of came down with a very similar illness as everybody that was sick from the Dallas Cowboys. Because man, when we're going through the whole report, I mean, Harvey's the only person that knows this. I mean, I was literally telling Ari, I go, man, this is crazy, man. I know exactly what this guy is feeling right now. That's exactly what I had to go through. So it really was a very humbling experience. I mean, I'll tell you this, having to be quarantined during Thanksgiving, it's not great, but I'll tell you this, very grateful for my family. I'm very grateful for everything that I have. I'm grateful for the good and the bad. Anna, are you worried about the Cowboys' slow starts? Woo, man!
We ain't started slow today, are
We're
we?
just doing the intro. We're just doing the intro. Chris Cruz, Harvey Nation, put me up. Whoa!
Let's
All
go,
right.
baby. Let's go. Let's go.
Man, just like
I'm
old
ready.
days. Old days or what, Harvey? You remember
Hey,
those
yeah,
days?
man. I feel like we took a needed rest. We relaxed, recharged the batteries, man, and we're ready to go, man. Let's get through this. It's gonna be a grind, but we're gonna get through it together, man. That's what we're here for. And bring on the questions, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, the more the better. Let's talk first and foremost about the division, right? Because nobody wants to even talk about this, but the NFC East, they're all in the playoffs, man.
Pretty
Every
much, man.
single team, pretty much. You got the Eagles are currently 10-1. The Cowboys are 8-3. The Giants are 7-4, and the Commanders are 7-5. Wow, Harvey. I mean, I've already been public and stating my feelings towards the division. I said, hey, we're at least one, maybe two seasons out from being competitive, but I like what the division is doing. But this year has been a complete flip around. I mean, literally day and night for the NFC East from what it was a year ago. Because a year ago, if you're a Cowboy Nation, you're made fun of by other teams, or other people that follow different teams for whatever reason, because Cowboys broke their heart in 1997, 98, 99, 90, whatever. But anyways, getting back to it, I've been on the record saying, like, I thought they were at least 1 or 2 years out, but man, they really flipped it up, man. What do you think?
I, I think it has a lot to do with if you look at our defenses in NFC East, we're actually pretty good. We're not super bad, but we're pretty, for the most part, the Eagles are good, the Cowboys are good, the Commanders are pretty good, and they're going to get Chase Young back. So, and the Giants are really not that bad defensively. It's just their offense does not complement their defense. But if you look at it, and then we can run the ball. The majority of the times, if you look at games, we can run the ball, man, in the NFC East. And I think that's a recipe to win defense and run the ball. So, I mean, nobody expected this, but I think a combination of those things has made this division really hard to beat. It's going to be a bloodbath, Jerry, going down the end.
I think so too.
It really is.
That's the perfect wording, actually. But yeah, man. I mean, if it was like just to kind of finish what I was saying, if it was a year ago, people weren't giving us credit. They were saying that we had the easiest division. We shouldn't even make the playoffs. Like, it was getting to that type of conversations with Cowboy haters. But let's get to Ana Salazar. She says, "Are you worried about the Cowboys' slow starts?" I will tell you this much right now. Or you know what? I'll let Harvey go first because I don't want to step on his toes.
You know I'm big on this, Jerry.
Yeah.
You know I've said this for many years, and just watching football and watching the Cowboys, we always have a slow start in the playoffs, and then we try to work back to win the game, and it's just not enough. We need to start fast, man. Especially this defense we have now, man. It's going to be hard to beat this defense. So as long as we have a fast start, and I keep saying this, look, man, all the accolades and all the starts and everything you talk about with Ezekiel Elliott, man, let it go out the window. Who cares at this point? We want to win. We need to start Pollard and start fast. And I keep saying this. It's like Groundhog Day, man. I keep repeating myself. Ezekiel Elliott's the closer, man. He punishes everybody at the end and he closes the game out. That's how we're gonna win games. But we need to start Pollard and start fast. Honestly, and I am worried about it actually.
I will say this: I am not worried about it because I will say this, and this is kind of pregame lobby. I said, you know what, Mike McCarthy knows that his ass is on the line, man. And excuse my language, but I mean, obviously, we got a little pass happy at the beginning with that Thanksgiving game.
Yeah,
And I'll tell you this, he fixed that. And after we got back from the half, we stuck to the run. And I'll tell you this, from there, everything just kind of worked in just unisons, right? It just
yeah,
all together, all one. I mean, you see Michael Gallup looking great, making, I mean, great snags and taking some big hits. We see CD Lamb, which and they stole that touchdown from CD Lamb. But
that's
it's all good. We got a touchdown back, right? But that was a touchdown. That was a touchdown. But I'm not afraid of the slow start because I know that Mike McCarthy will fix it. I know that he knows he doesn't want to lose his job. He knows that this is the best team he's ever had in his entire coaching career. I mean, you're talking about not only defensively, offensively, even we even have to give every NFL team is so scared of kicking the ball to Kevontae Turpin, man. That's why we haven't
yeah.
even seen him move the ball. Ramiro, what's up, man? We saw Biadash and Smith struggle. Are you worried? Mm.
See, remember I talked about this, Jerry,
This is
about Biotish.
and this is called context too, right here, right?
Yeah. So remember I said, I'm a Cowboy fan. I know them in and out, every player. And Biotish has a problem when you put that nose tackle right in front of him. I don't know what it is, but he has issues with it, right? And I kind of saw it a little bit in the Giants game if you go back and watch it. But that might be something that teams want to take advantage of. So we got to be very careful. That's why I think McGovern should be a center naturally. But yeah, I don't know. I think they have a plan with Smith moving to guard and then moving Tyron Smith when he does come back to left tackle. But it is a little worrisome. But I think going down the stretch, I think we'll be fine once they move into those positions. Honestly, they'll complement Biotish towards the end of the season, hopefully.
It does worry me. I think that the center is going to be as good as his guards are, and I think that right now, you, you know, you say McGovern at center, well, it can go either way with how I explain it. I think we need to address the left tackle position first. And
Yeah.
I do think that right now, I'm kind of questioning why didn't we see a little bit more Jason Pierce at left tackle and Tyler Smith at left guard. I mean, I want to see if Tyler Smith can hold up at left guard. I want to see if he can be that all pro perennial type of left guard that would need to maybe extend Tyron not only the ending of this season, but maybe allow him to fulfill next season. So we're not, behind the eight ball when it comes to draft season. And we gotta lock into that left tackle, like kind of like what we did with Tyler Smith. Luckily, with Tyler Smith, he's actually been able to step up to the bill. And you know what? Hats off to Cooper Rush, man, because if it wasn't for him, running the plays that were called, we wouldn't even be in this position, right? But it just shows you how good Dak Prescott is. But yeah, I mean, I am a little bit worried about this situation right now, but I think the way Mike McCarthy addressed the situation with Dak, I believe he's going to be addressing this situation with, you know, Tyron and Tyler Smith, and then of course Tyler Biotish, and then of course if that doesn't work, then like you said, maybe we should see, and hopefully the coaching staff does incorporate McGovern into the actual center position, and of course Zach Martin, and then Terrence Steele. Man, Terrence Steele is a steal. He's an absolute
Is
steal. I'm surprised he didn't go draft it. That's a crazy thing. Chris Cruz, shouldn't we be worried Dallas cannot stop Hurts? He's like Cam 2.0.
you
Oof.
know,
I think he has a good point, man.
I don't think I'm not worried.
But
So if
I
you, this is why I'm not worried.
okay, go ahead.
Number one, Dak didn't play the first game, and we still made it really close, 26-17, right?
True, very true. Yes, yes, yes.
The other thing is, I think we've learned our lesson. And the other thing is, if you watch the Green Bay game will tell you it's a copycat league. They did exactly what the Colts did. And if you look, if Green Bay makes their tackles, look at how many missed tackles they had on Sanders and Hurts. And they had a spy on Hurts and they missed tackles. I think we make those tackles. And I think it's a completely different game. I promise you, that's why I'm not worried.
I like it, man, with assertiveness and you are definitely like you said, you're ready for it. So just to kind of I guess give a little bit more context, right, on that specific question that was asked, right? When we look at the first time the Dallas Cowboys faced off against the Giants, Daniel Jones actually rushed 9 times for 79 yards. He averaged 8.8 yards a carry. In this game, the Cowboys actually only allowed 3 rushes, 14 yards. He averaged 4.7. So, when you go against Hurts, obviously we knew exactly like, and we saw, I mean, if you look at, when you go against Hurts, obviously we knew exactly. Hold on, I'm having a little technical difficulties here.
Hey, but Jerry, so just to bring up that context, right? I'm going to say it again. So you guys understand what I'm talking about as football fans, right? And you understand the what I'm trying to
Yes,
say. Green Bay, after Sunday's night loss in Philadelphia, Matt LaFleur said the Packers defense was charted with 15 missed tackles. After reviewing the film Monday, it was worse than that. The number was over 20. A big reason the Eagles rushed for 363 yards and piled up 500 total yards. In a triumph win of 40-33, it was still one score away. So that's why I'm not worried. I think the Cowboys make at least 10 of those tackles. Like they were in third down and, third down and 2 or 3 for a first down. So that's why I'm not worried. But if you look at that 20 missed tackles, man, that's a lot.
it is a lot.
So that's why I'm not worried, Jerry.
No, with I mean, we should never worry, right? But I'm just trying to what I was trying to just to kind of clear up was look at what Daniel Jones was able to do to the Cowboys early in the season as to Bills right now. Obviously, Dan Quinn does not want to get burned by this RPO anymore. And if you look at DeMarcus Lawrence or D Law, you can see he was being very disciplined, especially when they're trying to incorporate this RPO. He was being very, very disciplined. I like what I saw in D Law. I love what I saw on the defense. I think the score should have been a little bit better than that, but hats off to them. But Chris, we understand, Hurts is Hurts, and in that game, I mean, he hurt us with the RPO game, and we
Yeah.
saw again, man, with Justin Fields with the same RPO type of action. I mean, and that's because Justin Fields, if we're facing him again, I wouldn't want to because man, I mean, he's had success and he's done it to almost every single team. Anna, is the NFC East strong or schedule is weak? Huh.
So I'll answer that one with a quick one.
All right. All right.
The Jaguars beat the Ravens. So
I ain't gonna say
I
nothing else.
I'm just saying, man, like the Jaguars are none of these teams in the NFL you can take lightly. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, but you just got to be careful. Not everybody you can beat because the Ravens thought they were going to go and beat the Jaguars and they lost. And you know, shout out to Peterson. Is it Doug Peterson, the coach?
Yeah,
Man, he has some big cojones, man.
he
He
does.
went for he went for two. He's like, I don't care. I'm winning this game. I'm going for two.
Yeah,
And what kind of confidence does that build in your team?
a lot.
So,
I mean,
I mean,
it could probably even bleed over. But I will say this. I mean, the NFC East in itself is not an easy division.
no.
It's not. So the now outside of the division, aside from the AFC South, there's still these are the type of teams that you got to be careful with because with the AFC South, they're kind of like what they preach, right? That offenses should do. Take what the defense gives you, right? Well, these teams they actually are, hey, take the win if the team gives it to you. So I'll tell you this much right now. Like you said, we should always give everybody a ton of respect. But I think that, like I said, I just mentioned, Mike McCarthy knows that this is the best team that he's ever coached in his life. Therefore, he knows that this means that we are a great team and we should not be losing to stupid teams or I'm sorry, stupid games, in dumb situations, right?
Yep.
With our tight end development looking good, do the Cowboys make an OBJ a priority? Oh man, we're just about to start talking about paying the
The Fergus shots.
burger shots, baby. Man, the burger
Yeah.
shots are a breath of fresh air. But hold on, real quick, we got Joshua Mata. What's up, my boy? Man, you're looking sharp. Look at you. I like that. I like that suit. The hurt type will die out once Parsons and Vander Esch finish the unfinished business. I'm calling it. Woo, man, I love it. I'm pinning that right there. I love that. I love it. But just to get back with Ram, with our tight end development looking good, do the Cowboys make OBJ a priority? Harvey, you go ahead, take over on this one because I do have my set that I want.
I'm gonna answer the question. Obviously, it's looking good. We got a whole Fergus shot group. I don't know if this is a thing or if it's going viral, but we should make it viral. The Fergus shots. Um, but I think the development is great, man. If you see Hendershot, he wasn't a very good blocker in the beginning of the season, but now you can see like he's taking this thing like almost a pride thing for him, and he's getting a lot better at blocking. I think Ferguson and Hendershot, the Fergus shots, are better blockers than Schultz. To be honest, I think they're better blockers. Now, this is the thing I was thinking about the other day. Why don't they get the ball more? Is it because they're doing fine the way they're going and they don't want to reveal too much later on in the season?
Ooh,
That could be something because it's one of those things, right? You play a team that runs the ball, like in high school, they run the ball like 50 times, and then that one time they pass it, it's a touchdown every time. That might be something that we need to look into. Maybe they don't want to reveal too much. Maybe they just want to run a couple of plays with them here and there. But then when it comes down to the very end, or maybe the playoffs, they just unleash those two and just run them in routes like crazy. So I think they're kind of holding back a little bit because they don't want to reveal too much. But man, I'm excited. At this point, the tight end development is so good that you let Schultz walk.
well, I will say this. I think that yes, you should make OBJ a priority. And hear me out. Hear me out. I love this tight end development. In fact, I was actually big on Sean McKeon, uh, and I was kind of surprised that they actually let him go to the practice squad because I thought I was like, oh no, we're not going to be able to get him back. I just because he actually started last season. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, yeah.
So I kind of liked some of his upside. I was like, oh wow, I think we got something, and tight ends usually a rookie tight end takes about I want to say about 2 seasons for them to be developed. So what we're seeing right now with Peyton Hendershot and Jake Ferguson, it's unreal, man. We have not seen anything like this before, man. I will say this: they make the game so interesting, so exciting. I love everything I'm seeing. I mean, from not only from Jake Ferguson, doing the what was it? Jumping, something.
Yeah.
What was you expecting? So he did the jump, man, and then he trucked the next guy, right? Because we saw that, and yes, TikTok, we saw that. Somebody, somebody called Harvey saying he did choke the next guy.
Hey,
But anyway,
TikTok's vicious,
they
man.
are. Hey, but we love them. We love them.
We love him. We love him, man.
Yeah. If you have a TikTok, make sure you go find us. Well, we have nice little funny cut up. They're not funny. They're awesome cut ups, right? But I will say this, and then of course Peyton Hendershot being able to run it. He ran in a 2 yard touchdown. It was what I mean, what was that? Was that kind of like a I don't want to say it was a sweep. It was more of a like
It's
an
like a jet sweep kind of. I don't even know what to call it. Yeah,
but
it's kind of like a jet.
I will tell you this, it was nice to see him like, because he's originally from Indiana. You have some great stats
Hey, man,
this year right now.
This is pretty crazy for a tight end to go undrafted. He only dropped one ball his whole college career.
One ball.
One ball. That's pretty insane, man.
To go undrafted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Undrafted. It's just I'll tell you this much right now. That just shows us that, the Cowboys are in a great situation with Will McClay and Stephen Jones. Obviously, they're not. I think I mentioned it before that they're doing this money ball situation. No, actually, Bill Walsh created and this was back when in Bill Walsh's days, and it's just me doing just a little bit more research on Will McClay's team building. So, they have their own chart of, you know, like in other words, of importance of drafting, right? And then where they can find the value in undrafted free agency. And the one person that actually kind of or no, the one person that did evolve this or grew this into existence was Bill Walsh, and that's where Will McClay gets a lot of his studies from is from there. So, yeah, man. Just to kind of finish that real quick because I didn't really get to finish what Rams question why, right? But I will say this: in other words, give me your rookie contract, and I'm gonna go ahead and rinse and repeat. That's kind of like the approach that they've been taking with Dalton Schultz and whatnot. They obviously he's gained that from Bill Walsh because Bill Walsh would literally tell his players, "You got 4 years here, and then good luck to you wherever you go next." So, he wouldn't do that to quarterbacks because quarterbacks was his number one priority. But I will say this: the reason why we do need OBJ as a priority is because aside from CD Lamb and Michael Gallup, our backup, not even our backup, but our third pass catcher is Dalton Schultz. I'll tell you this: when you get into the playoffs, you're going to be facing defenses that are designed to stop the run. So therefore, you need to have that luxury of having not only a wide receiver that has Super Bowl, experience, but playoff experience. But you need somebody that can kind of take the pressure off CD Lamb and of course Michael Gallup. So if we get forced into shooting it out, well, we got the players on both sides, and we got obviously we got OBJ, right, to help out, right, to take off the pressure away from them so they can make those tough catches and get the scores that we need because this is kind of when that where you get that real tough, ugly football season. So that's answering Rams question. Alex, it's been a while, man. To me, this season still rides on Dak. Will he be consistent enough to lead us to the promised land? Because when he is off his game, we get in trouble. And yeah,
So
I think it's well said, right?
I think of past experiences and just looking at Dak, we keep saying it, man. He's not a 40 attempt guy. He's not that guy, And I love Dak. Don't get me wrong. Everybody gives me some kind of oh man, he doesn't like Dak. No, I love Dak. Actually, before the draft even started, I wanted him drafted. And I didn't think they were going to draft him because I think during that time he got a DUI like a month before the draft. And I told my brother, man, they're not going to get him because of that probably. And then he called me and he's like, "Hey, drafted your guy." So I think a lot of Dak, right? But I think his game is help him out with the run game. I think you run the ball, you do play action like you did with the Giants, and I think that's his game. That's the type of player he is. As long as we can run the ball, So I think if we stick to that, I think he'll be fine. I think he can take us to a promised land, to be honest. But he's going to need help. He's going to need those guys to rush for over 100 yards and take that pressure, a little bit of that pressure off of him. And I think we'll be just fine. But that's the game plan. That's the plan with Dak.
I've heard people say that Dak is the type of quarterback that needs things to be perfect for him to win. So I will say this. I I wasn't skeptical of him in the beginning. I really didn't put too much emphasis on that thought process when we got him. I understood what we got him. I thought it was going to be a development, more of a development type of road for him, right? Because we had Tony Romo, but then Romo got hurt, and then they had a great season his rookie year, and from there they haven't looked back. But when you look at the bigger picture, I don't think Dak needs things to be perfect. I just think that when we look at Dak, I think sometimes we're a little bit harsher on him than what we should be because, obviously you had the likes of Troy Aikman who came into the Cowboys organization, won 3 Super Bowls. Then from there, the expectations have been so sky high. I mean, a lot of people, especially if you're younger than a certain age, you didn't get to see all that what we saw after Troy Aikman left. So I will tell you this: seeing that Dak could pick this game up at a fast pace, especially during a rookie year, make big strides, make big pushes. I don't think that it needs to be perfect. I just think that Dak needs to get out of his own way sometimes because he's trying to be perfect, and you don't in this game you don't need to be perfect, man. Like you said, this is a team. This is a team sport, man. You just got to make sure you make your play to set up your teammate, and everything should take care of itself. And like you said, we have the defense in place, we have the offense in place, and I think we're gonna get healthier on the line, which should be a lot better for Dak. If he has to pass, but more importantly, more for the rushing attack to get going.
Yep.
So, in a nutshell, I will tell you that, stop being so freaking harsh on Dak, man. He tries his best to be the best quarterback for Cowboys, man. Don't you guys remember the Quincy Carter days? Don't you guys remember the Drew Bledsoe days, the Vinny Testaverde, the man? We
Nah,
even had what was that number 2 pick after Ryan Leaf?
Ryan Leaf, that was horrible.
That was horrible. And it doesn't stop there either. I mean, we had Drew Henson. Remember that? I mean, it was just a string of quarterbacks. It was worse than what the Indianapolis Colts are seeing in these 3 years. That's why we laugh, man. You guys don't know, man. We've seen ugly, man.
Yeah.
Chris, so what's up, guys? What's the game plan for the Colts? Well, hold on, Chris, man. Let us enjoy the Fergus shots, man.
For real, man.
Hey, Alex, season doesn't need to ride on Dak as long as we stick to the 1-2 punch run and then create the momentum for Dak to be at his peak performance. Cool. Thanks, man. Appreciate that,
Yep.
Joshua. And I know he meant that peacefully. I think there is some truth to it. Anna, this season will determine if Dak gets his second big contract. Ooh, somebody finally, right? Somebody's mentioned, hey, what about Dak's? We have yet to talk about Dak's second contract.
He's got a lot riding on this too.
He does. He really does, man. And you know what, Anna, just to like you said, this is very scary times for Dak because right before we gave right before the not we right before the Cowboys gave him the 40 million, he his ankle broke, got the 40 million, then he had a calf injury. When he came back, he had a calf injury, it took him out, and then he didn't really play the game. He didn't really play the rest of the season. And this year he had the thumb. I mean, it almost feels like Tony Romo, kind of like in the back end of Tony Romo's contract.
Yep.
I mean, not contract, but career, right?
Clear. Yep.
What is his body breaking down? So I will tell you this: he's gonna need to finish out this year strong. And I mean, when I say strong, yeah, promise land strong. Hey, if you don't win it, hey, at least you got us to the Super Bowl, and now you know what you got to fix for next year. Then come next year, he's gonna need to make sure he stays healthy the entire year. The entire year. He needs to take care of, I mean, obviously, I'm not saying he doesn't take care of his body. He just needs to take care of his body in game. In game, right? So don't put yourself out there. Don't try to be Mr. Perfect out there trying to do something you can't do, right? Ram, when you're not perfect and you need a lot of help, you're not Dak. Okay. Let me read it slowly. When you're not perfect and you need a lot of help, you're not Dak. Should not be a $40 million quarterback. Oh, Rev took some
So
shots at me.
you know what, man? And that's not our fault.
It's not.
That's Jerry Jones' fault.
It is his fault.
He had Dak, I think, between 32 to 35 million dollars, something like that.
I mean, he could
And
have done.
because
He could have probably done it a year even more earlier than that.
and so hey man, that's their fault. So they got him at 40 million, but that now that I started thinking and looking back and looking at all the numbers, and I think I brought this up to you, Jerry, behind the scenes. We looked at all the quarterbacks since 2016 with Dak, and since that time, we looked at Stafford. We looked at all these tier quarterbacks. Remember that tier chart we had?
Hmm.
Some of these quarterbacks are getting paid a lot of money, man, and
And
their percentage of against winning teams was like 20%.
I think the worst one was Derek Carr, right? And
Yeah.
I think Derek Carr got a contract re up this year too. He just finished
So I'm
on
just
extension.
yes, I'm just saying, like, I mean, that's really not our fault. Like, it just happened that way. And I think the quarterback market is just keeps getting more expensive. Um, but that goes to show, man, if you think you got your quarterback, you might need to sign him like right away before that price starts going up. Um, so I mean, I get it, $40 million is a lot. But man, it's really hard to find a quarterback in the NFL. My brother told me this one time. He said, "Man, if you have a decent quarterback, stick with him, man, because you never know what you're going to fall into later on. You might end up in a string of 5 to 6, 7 years and not even having a decent quarterback and wishing that you could have pulled the trigger on one of them." So it is what it is, man. We have to live with it. But I think this is a good recipe, the one we have, and they've helped Dak out a lot. They put a lot of weapons around him. Like Jerry Jones said, he missed the opportunity with Tony Romo.
You know, I will say this right now, offensively, now that Dak is back, we are top five in every freaking category, guys. So we need to just, take just be careful. You know what I'm saying? Be cautious. You know what I'm saying? Understand that it's hard to put it into perspective. But right now, yes, that can get us there. Obviously, he can. I mean, we saw what he could do last year. We had the number one ranked offense, and it's taken us some time to get back, but he's back. He's back in it, man.
So real quick, Jerry, just to kind of bring it up, right? I got the stats here.
Oh,
Cowboys offense, week 1 through 6. Dak played the first one, I got it. But week 1 through 6, points 23, total yards 27th, pass yards 27th, third down 29th. Week 7 through 11, not even we're not even counting the Giants, right? Points first in the NFL.
mm,
Total yards third,
let's go.
pass yards sixth,
Okay,
third down conversion first.
let's go. Let's go, man. I love it. Sorry for yelling.
But that just sometimes we don't look at that.
Yeah, I mean
And that's kind of big, man.
it's huge. Actually, it just shows you, it's huge. And I hope my cousin's watching this. That when I talk about Dak, I'm not talking to you guys directly. I'm talking to my cousin. I'll just say I'll give people hints. It's tuna. That's it. And let's see if he watched because we'll see if you watch tuna. But yeah, man. I mean that just speaks volumes, man. That obviously Dak is running the offense that they're asking him to do. He's obviously we've already broken down how complex this offense is. I mean, from understanding that it's not just rub routes or you know what I'm saying, or simple wide receiver screens or anything. There's nothing simple about it. This is a very complex wide receiver for anybody that's pass catching, it's a read option. So whatever the defense is showing you, you need to break off your route, flatten out into the zone, or take it to the house. Either or, and you got to be on the same page as Dak. So you cannot be jammed at the line. You got to make sure that you are free and you're going, man. Everybody needs to do it. So Dak already, when we look at Dak, it looks like he's staring down, his pass catchers. He's not. He already saw what the defense gave him. He knows exactly where he's going with the ball. People that say Dak holds the ball too long, he doesn't. He's waiting to see if the wide receiver is seeing what he saw on defense to throw the ball. So that's the one thing that we like to clear up, right? But I mean, he's also worried about Tyler Smith hitting a rookie wall. Ooh, man, you know what? That's something that nobody's talking about right now. Is Tyler
No.
Smith right now? Has he hit a rookie wall?
So this would be the end of college, right? Or pretty close.
Oh yes, you're saying as far as the season wise.
It is.
Yeah, he's never played beyond this point.
Now he has what, 5 more games to go, and possibly playoffs and Super Bowl, of course. But
Yeah,
you know,
it's a long
let's
road.
not get
February,
let's not get ahead of ourselves. But
the second week of February. Yeah, pretty
but
much.
I'm just saying that's maybe Ramiro's right. Like this is the end of the college season. It's long, and the NFL's it's tough, man. You're going up against all pros, Pro Bowlers. Like every week, you're going up against somebody that's really good, man. So he might have a point there. Maybe moving Tyler Smith to guard will help him out a little bit. He doesn't have to go up against those top pass rushers every week. So I don't know. I don't know if he's hitting a wall, but you can tell he's making a lot more mistakes more often than he usually was in the beginning of the season. So that's a good point, Jerry.
No, it's a great point. I don't know. I wasn't ready to. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't even looking at that he wasn't conditioned. He hasn't really been conditioned, because when you look at this kind of season, this is 17 weeks. It used to be 16 weeks, so that means 15 games, but now you're talking about 16 full games. They don't do that in college, right? Like you said, normally, typically, if your team made it, then you got probably one more game to go. But yeah, where he played college, they weren't involved in too many bowl games. So yeah, I could see that so clearly. I was gonna say I seen him take. He's not as, I don't want to say exciting, but the thing is that now we're starting to see that, we started seeing a little bit more flags coming out, and his number being called on those flags. So you start seeing him hold, and then of course he's getting burnt, man. I mean, he's getting beat, and I just thought that maybe it was defenses picking up on the tendencies and getting ready to, really be able to tee off on his tendencies that they had picked up on him earlier on the year.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this: come off season, the Dallas Fort Worth area offers some of the best training programs for all athletes, man. I'll tell you this: this boy's gonna be eating a ton of steak this season. This off season, he's gonna be in the weight room. He's gonna have a coach, and you know what? I feel bad for all you edge rushers that did this to him. Next year, it's gonna be a different story, man. Whether they keep him at left tackle or not, man. But let's kind of dig into it, right? Because right now, I think everybody's taking a breather. I think the questions were the greatest, but I want you to grade, if you could put it in a grading scale, Will McClay's grade for constructing the team that we have up until this point.
Oof.
What grade would you give him? I mean, because we talked about the Fergus shots, we talked about Dak, and we just finished talking about Tyler Smith, man. So, for a team to be able to have what we have, right? We have we're staring down for sure a 3-year window. But and the reason why I say 3-year windows, because the contracts that the huge contracts, they're in check for the next 3 years. Defense is really young.
Man, Jerry, you got that's tough, man.
All right, all
Because
right. All right, it's all good.
Well,
What could you say about Will McClay then?
I
Look
almost
look at this. Ana Salazar,
so yeah,
A plus.
I want to go with an A plus. That's because, but you're talking about, man. I have to say an A plus, man. When I think about it, um, and when you say A plus, you got to think. I don't know how to say some of these names, so please forgive me. You got Bohan, right?
Yeah, Bohana.
You got obviously Demarcus Lawrence.
Hmm.
We have Armstrong.
Yes.
We have obviously Micah Parsons.
Before you go further,
Sam, go ahead.
it's crazy to see Dorrance Armstrong be able to make such a big impact, right? Because the biggest critic in the offseason, this last offseason, was how we weren't able to retain Randy Gregory. And then we hear Jerry Jones come out, oh, well, we were able to re-sign this and that for the contract that we saved. And a lot of us were looking at Doris Armstrong like, Doris Armstrong, Doris Armstrong. And look at this, man. Will McClay obviously talked to Stephen Jones, said, let's get this guy in. And let's talk about that real quick. Dorrance Armstrong, he's here for another year, man. They signed him to a 2-year, $20 million contract, which is basically an average annual salary of 6 million, and he got 4 points. It's 6 million fully guaranteed, 4.6 signing. So just goes to show you he's counting 6 million against the books, man. So
So, and
go.
I have to give you have to give credit to Will McClay, but who's the one making the moves? And I think that's Stephen Jones.
Oh yeah,
I think Stephen Jones has given a lot of responsibility, and Will McClay's like, hey man, just let him go. Like Randy Gregory, Leo Collins, like we have Steele, we have Dorrance Armstrong. So why do we need those guys? I'm not saying the conversation happened like that, but I'm sure they had those conversations. But yeah, this team, man, I have to say A plus, man. The drafting of Jabril Cox, you got to talk Damone Clark, Micah Parsons, Van Der Esch, Trayvon Diggs, CD Lamb, Dak, Pollard. I mean, the offensive line, you can't like it's rough, man. Like
I see
so
why
many.
I see why you're saying it was kind of hard for you to give a grade because I mean, look at what he's been able to build. It's something that is sustainable and for the next years that we have up ahead.
So
Ramiro did give him a double A battery, right? He does
yeah,
so much on scouting development. Will and his team are awesome, and I mean that deserves another round of applause. I will tell you this: I am very grateful for Will McClay. I think that what he's done is actually, I think he's helped out the Joneses. He's helped out Steven, right? I think it's understanding identity. So with certain identities, do you really need this? You know what I mean? So do you really need this positional group? Do you really need this? You know what I mean? So I think that if anything, I think an A plus is almost unfair. That's why I saw Rand give him the double A. I think that's it's a phenomenal job of what Will McClay, Stephen Jones, how like you said, Jerry Jones kind of let go of the power trip and let his son kind of get to work. Allow his son to work with Will McClay to see exactly okay how can you construct this team to be sustainable and whatnot. And like you said, I mean, we said it in the very beginning of the Cowboy cast. I mean, shoot, our second string defensive line could be first string for any team right now in the NFL, man. And I still stand by that statement that we said.
you
So
know, and I'll say one more thing, Jerry. A
of course,
plus, right? And Ram said double A, right? Double A, but you like Will McClay is such a big part of the Dallas Cowboys.
yes, he
So
is.
many teams have tried to pull him away.
Yeah.
I'm so passionate about Will McClay and what he's done to these Dallas Cowboys, sustainability wise, that I wouldn't be surprised if he's in the Ring of Honor one day.
Ooh.
That I mean, that's how much of an impact he's made on the Dallas Cowboys. Honestly,
I really do feel that this approach that we're going to be taking, we're going to be a nuisance team, man. The Cowboys nation finally can stand up and be proud. And you know what? We're going to take it to all them, 49ers faithfuls and all them, man. I mean, all the Eagle fans who think that they think they're in the same league as us. No, you're not. Uh, Alex, aren't we glad we didn't sign Randy Gregory, dude? That's a great thing, man. I think me and you were just. I was showing you a picture, right, Harvey, of the stat comparisons, and you're like, dude, that's exactly what Jerry Jones was talking about. And what the one statement that Jerry Jones made was not accountability; it was
Availability.
availability. And Randy Gregory he hasn't been available for the Dallas Cowboy defense in how many seasons?
Yeah.
And he's not available right now for the Broncos right now either. So it just shows you, man. We need to trust the process right now that we're in. We need to trust the players that we have. Um, I think as a nation, we get behind them and send out that positive, the positive expectations and the love and support. Even when we do bad, I think that this team can be a little bit more resilient, bounce back,
I,
and Super Bowl is within our grasp now.
and I'll say something, Jerry, about the Randy Gregory. I understand a lot of these players, they put their body out there, and it's hard, man. You got to take care of yourself and your family. I understand that 100%. But there's a thing called loyalty. And I think Randy Gregory, when it comes to Jerry Jones and them two, I think Jerry Jones put a lot of faith and loyalty on him and
He
took a
did.
gamble on him, a huge gamble. And we're not talking about, hey, at the end of it, everybody talks about Jerry Jones, but he cared about Randy Gregory and his mental status. People forget that. Like he worried about him and he wanted to make sure that he was taken care of. And Jerry took care of him for the most part. But for Randy Gregory to come back, I don't know the whole details, but you hear the news saying that he didn't want to sign the contract because it had clauses and this and that. I mean, to me, man, what goes around comes around. Karma, karma can hit you right in the face, man, and you see what happens. So, hey, man, you got to be humble sometimes.
Honestly, just give Zeke the damn ball.
He
Let's just do it, man. I mean, right
looked
now
good though.
he did, man. He really did, and that's because he's wearing a brace, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy. And he looked good. He looked good. I will say this. I mean, I love what I see. Zeke has definitely he's really turned the page, especially this season. You can see him really being a leader on offense. He's there helping out Malik Davis when he was injured, or when he was out with that injury. He helped out Malik and Tony Pollard. That's great, man. I love seeing that. Good job for Zeke. It's been so much fun seeing him, and let's go and get this ring, man. We got the Colts this week. Right now, we're talking about what is it? They're 4-7 Colts, and the Dallas Cowboys. So coming up tomorrow and the next couple of days, we're gonna start breaking those two teams down, man. So be ready, guys. Make sure you guys are ready with your questions. But definitely we want to get those segments out.
Don't forget the hat.
the Stephen A.
No, the hat. The
Oh,
giveaway.
yeah, finally, man. I could finally grab it, man. Touch it. Yeah, so coming up pretty soon, right? This is a true brand. It's out of actually Dallas. You see the one I'm wearing, obviously. This one I have not worn, but this is going to be a part of the second giveaway. So yeah, man. I mean, get your cap, and all you gotta do is obviously, make sure, just to kind of clean up some things. Make sure you go to you gotta click on your actual profile on YouTube, and make sure that you're public, right? Make sure you're public, because by saying it by public, we can see at least your email address. With the email address, we can go ahead and at least email you and say, "Hey, can you please give us your your name?" You know what I mean? I understand it's a scary world sometimes out there, but I've had YouTube for many years now, and I've been public and everything. I'll tell you this: go out there and make sure you lock in your ads too. So give me a moment.
Hey Jerry, just so I'll put something out real quick about I think Jerry brought this up to me about I want you guys to understand that um it's a cap giveaway and everybody's kind of like, oh, it's just a cap. It's not really just a cap. Um, so I want you to, if you can explain to them, Jerry, about the beginning and why they do it, and I think that Dak talked about depression or something like that, or
Correct, correct.
I want them to understand that it's just not another cap.
It's not a cap. It's actually, you know, it was founded in 2020. Obviously, 2020 was hard on a lot of people. I mean, that 2020 flipped the whole world upside down. And you know, if we look at Dak's journey, along the way, he's dealt with mental health and whatnot. And this is something that's real. Mental health is actually real. And so, a lot of people out there, they just don't have the help, and they don't have that they don't have that outlet or that help, or they can go and say, hey man, I just don't feel right. Like, so the thing is Ben DiNucci was approached by this gentleman that also had the same situation, aspiring individual to create, clothing and whatnot. And obviously 2020 took a big toll on him too. Not only were we locked up, but that, and then of course you looked at the Cowboys for, your outlet, right? Your safe, some people see football as almost like a safe haven for them. And man, we lost Dak that year. I think Dak broke his ankle. So literally, you're talking about entire world flipped upside down. And in the end, that's kind of when he saw and he sparked that. That's when the idea came to him to come up with this design, right? Which is basically what you would see in a cowboy cap, but it's upside down. So when people see it, it's to bring awareness, right? To that is that no matter how upside down the world may seem, there's help out there. And I encourage you, man, if you ever need to talk, do not hesitate, man. I mean, reach out to us. We're available on all social media platforms, man. We're here for you. So definitely, if these caps, not only is Dak wearing it, CD wears them, all of them, every single Cowboy player wears them. But yeah, Ben DiNucci is part owner of them. The As soon as the caps go on sale, they're sold out. Like within an hour, they're sold out. So you could probably go and find some dad hats, but this is the one that everybody kind of goes after. Is these hats right here, the ones I have on. So definitely, guys, I encourage you, if you like it, make sure first and foremost, make yourself public on your, it's just a setting. Just click on your profile and on your actual on your actual YouTube page. On normally there's a little picture of you if you put a picture. If not, it'll have like in this case, your initials or your first initial, and then just make sure you just click on public, right? So we can see at least your email, and we can email you if you win. Uh, and then of course, all you got to do to be subscribed. Of course, like the actual YouTube that you watch, and of course turn on notifications. We ask to turn on the notifications, but for right now, as long as you're subscribed to the YouTube channel, that automatically gives you an enter. I believe right now what me and Harvey are discussing is turning on notifications and a second entry, I believe. And we'll give you clarification on this on Wednesday. So just bear with us on that. So, but for sure, if you want to lock it in, that's all you do. Joshua Mata, that's awesome. Thanks for the clarity on the caps. Grateful for the Cowboys cast.
Yes, bro.
Well,
No problem, man.
grateful for you,
Yep.
man. But yeah, man. Like I said, just make yourself public so we can see it. Share this so someone else can maybe take advantage of it.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure everybody knows a Cowboy fan out there, man. If they really want to be a part of a great community, I'll tell you this: there's no better place that I rather be right now than with you guys. Even though we're seeing the Steelers win, which is good, right? 13-0. So go Cowboys. Tune in tomorrow, same time, and we're gonna start breaking down the offenses for everybody. Thank you.